Hey everybody, Decent Eddie here. It's Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. Right now, my confident moneyline picks are sitting at 79%, and I'm at 63% for all WNBA picks this season. My goal is to help you make more informed decisions. My analysis may be useful for spread and over-under bets, and my data set focuses on moneyline picks. Also remember, always check matchup and injury news about 20 minutes before tip-off before you finalize your picks. All right. Hey, also, click like, subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment. I give these out before tip-off every day. They don't cost you anything. There's no groups to join, and I don't spam your DMs, all right? Let's go ahead and get into today's games. The first one up is Fever versus Sun. Fever get a decent Eddie confident pick with a 5.868 differential in their favor on the money line. This suggests a win probability of 81% by my historical data. The market, last I checked, is in strong agreement. They've got Fever as 16-point favorites. They're implying a 95% chance for the Fever to win. The over-under for this contest is set at 165.5 points. The Fever look like they're back. Now they're over 500 for the season, and they're gunning for those top Eastern Conference spots. They're healthier than they've been in a while, and the results are starting to kind of speak for themselves. They're not perfect by any stretch, but they're playing well enough on offense. They're scoring well, and their defense is showing some improvements, but they still have some ways to go there. The Sun are in a free fall, but that's not really a newsflash to anybody. They own the worst record in the WNBA. They do almost nothing well. To make matters worse, they're still dealing with the absence of Mabry. Given that massive 5.868 differential in my data for the Fever and the implied 95% chance win probability for Indiana by the books, you kind of think the Fever are a slam dunk at the minus 16 against the spread. However, I'd be cautious at minus 16 for the Fever. The disparity between these two teams is gigantic, definitely. And the Fever already beat them by 17 points earlier, but 16 points is still a pretty large number in the WNBA. Someone also couldn't be blamed if they consider 16 for the Sun. I mean, their record against the spread as double-digit underdogs is better than most people might think, but the sentiment is that even if the Fever decide to ease off a little bit on the gas if the game looks like a blowout, the Sun are so fundamentally challenged that 16 points could still be well within the reach for Indiana to cover, simply due to the sheer talent gap alone. Yes, the Sun covered against the Sparks and the Storm last week, but those teams are not the Fever of today. I'd consider this almost a no play against the spread, friends. For the total, sitting at 165.5 points with Connecticut's pretty weak offense, especially without Mabry, and Indiana's decent defense, I'm kind of leaning towards the under. It's tough to see the Suns contributing enough offensively to push this game past the total, despite Fever's offensive strengths. For the money line, my data says Fever. The books say hell yeah, Fever. Nothing's ever 100%, and there's next to zero value in taking Fever on the money line alone, but I have to do it for my data. I would recommend sticking this money line into a parlay if you're going to use the money line at all. All right? Mystics versus Sparks. Sparks get a danger pick with a .921 differential in their favor. This indicates kind of a coin toss, friends. The market is kind of in agreement, although they have a different favorite. They have Mystics as 1.5 point favorites, and they're implying a 53% chance for the Mystics to win. The over-under for this game is set at 164.5 points. Mystics come in at 11-10. They're riding a 3-game winning streak. They've won 6 of their last 8. They've been impressive on defense, really impressive. And on offense, they're kind of less than stellar, though. Sparks have shown some life here recently. They've won 2 of their last 3. The thing is, many sports writers aren't very high on them. But looking at the data, just the black and white data, I mean, they're really not terrible, except on defense. I mean, they're pretty gross on defense, but they're still not the worst. They also have a tough time at home, which is weird. They got a 2-8 record at home. Who knows why? Given that .921 differential in my data for the Sparks and the implied 53% win probability for the Mystics by the books, this is a perfect example of how the fade the weak favorites rule comes into play. My model has low confidence in the market's favorite, the Mystics, as my own slight lean is on the Sparks. With the Sparks sitting at a 1.5 point underdog, the rule tells us to strongly consider betting on the Sparks against the spread. And to me, that's insurance on my own number, and we've seen this play out before. For the total sitting at 164.5, you have the Mystics, who play solid defense, particularly strong against the 3 points and fast breaks, against a Sparks team that struggles defensively, giving up a lot of points. While the Sparks offense is decent, the Mystics' ability to limit scoring, coupled with Sparks' defensive challenge, leads me to kind of go towards the under at 164.5. For the money line, my data says Sparks. The books say Mystics. I must go with my number for the data tracking. But friends, this is a coin toss. Whether you look at my number or the book's number, that's the only thing you can say about it. From me to you, this is a no play on the money line. All right, quick recap. Decent Eddie confident moneyline picks. We've got one, and that's the Fever. We don't have any suboptimal moneyline picks. Danger moneyline picks. My pick is the Sparks. For parlays, as you know, I will include confident picks and parlays, and we have one with the Fever. And if you put the Fever in a 2-leg parlay with another wager between -400 and -450 odds, your win probability by the books is 77%. If you add a third leg in that odds range, your probability is reduced to 62%. I will always endorse up to a 3-leg parlay with odds between -400 to -450. If you do that, your probability is going to stay at or above 50%. Regardless of what you choose, I never recommend more than a 3-leg parlay due to the risks of combined probabilities. And remember, don't spend more than 10% of your bankroll in total across all your wagers in a day. Never chase losses, and if you need help with a gambling problem, check out my channel's description. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. Hey, if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment to get my picks before tip-off on the day of the game. No spammy DMs, no groups to join. Follow me at Decent Eddie Picks on Instagram. You find me on Facebook. You can see me at X Decent Eddie Picks. You can see me on TikTok. Sometimes I'll post team grades there. Sometimes I'll do some last-minute thoughts there. Let's see what happens tonight, though. This is Decent Eddie signing off. Have an awesome day.